Hey traders, gold and silver update time, and I've got a confession to make. Yes, I have been wrong quite a bit when it comes to my short-term analysis on gold, and I've got a bit of a humble pie to present to you guys, but I want to share with you both sides of the coin of when it comes to my analysis and where I see gold going overall. But on a short-term basis, I got a bit of a humble pie that I want to share with you guys. So let's get straight into it. Don't place a trade based on what you'll see in this video because there is no guarantees of making a profit in the market. It takes you a long time to become a good trader. So this video here is just to educate you to become a much better trader. Alrighty guys, so let's go straight into it. Oh, but before I start guys, I'm actually running a free training right now. Well, not a free training, actually a free trading course, a complete free trading course guys. There's actually 4 phases in there. There's about 8-9 videos there. There's about 10 hours worth of training, foundations, chart reading, trading systems and mindset. Link in description. Go get that right now guys. It's actually 100% free for a limited time only. Now I've got a bit of a humble pie to when it comes to my short-term analysis. Now here's the thing. Let's actually start with a short-term analysis on gold, and then I'll go to my long-term analysis. On my short-term analysis, I really thought that we would actually be in a lot more of a bull market than we're in right now, especially with the inflation that we've already had in the past, and we've seen crazy movements from a commodity perspective, oil, like in different commodities like soybeans, corn, even wheat lately starting to pick up and so on and so forth, right? So we're starting to see that. So I really thought, okay, you know what? Yes, we're getting a pullback here, but inflation is really going to start to move these metals much higher than where they are right now. And it was just a matter of when this pullback was happening. It was just a matter of before the bulls came in. So I was looking for any reason why this market was going to kick back in, because inflation, it just makes sense, right? Just the inflation, I saw it actually moving to the upside. Okay, so that was my short-term analysis. Now here's the thing: when it comes to my short-term analysis, I'm just reading what the market's telling me, and I'm saying, okay, we're probably going to start a bull. We're probably going to start a bull run soon. And I've been completely wrong with that. My short-term analysis, I really thought, especially with that inflation that we've actually had in the past, I really thought we'd see another big move to the upside when it comes to gold. We haven't actually got that, and I've been completely wrong. Now, my analysis and the way that I trade on a short-term basis are completely different. I'll do my analysis right now, and I'll say, okay, this is what the market's saying, okay, because there's no certainties in the markets around. There's no 100% certainties when you're trading the markets. And there's so many bumblebees out there. It's like, oh my goodness, you got it wrong. So here's the thing, guys. Okay, there is chart reading techniques that give you a probability of what's going on, short-term basis, long-term basis, so on and so forth. And then there's trading techniques, and there's a trading system, and then there's trading techniques. Okay, so down the bottom here, when we had this double bottom, I said we're getting ready for a bull market, and we went for a bull run. But that was actually short-lived. If you remember, guys, I was actually saying, okay, here's the double bottom. We've just broken the neckline. Yeah, we're getting ready for a big move. And so we had a big move, and I actually was not expecting to see this. Then when we got that, and now we're getting this, guess what? On my short-term analysis, now I have to what? I have to bend and mold with the markets. So yes, I've done the whole thing like, it's on like Donkey Kong, and Donkey Kong's coming to town and all this sort of stuff, right? But you know what? I was wrong. I really thought this bull move here was the start of a lot higher movement. It actually wasn't. And so therefore, guess what, guys? That's actually called trading in itself, isn't it? Because on a short-term analysis, on short-term trading, which is like over a few weeks or even for a few months, the market can change on a dime, and we must be able to respect that as well too. See, and that's where good risk management comes into it, and so on and so forth, right? So I was completely wrong when it comes to this here. I got this point right when the market came down, double bottom, and then we did this. I'm like, we're getting ready for a big bull move. We got the bull move. I was completely wrong, and then the market came straight back down. And I'm like, okay, this is something different here, right? This movement on the downside is something different when we shouldn't be getting this right now. And so now reading and bending and flowing with the markets, Now on a short-term basis, we had a strong move down, a weak move up, and now we've got this bull market here. So that's where, if you've been watching my videos for the last few weeks, I'm just like, okay, there's a bit of a triangle pattern forming here on a big picture. Where's it going to break? And so right now we got this big strong breakdown bar. So therefore, I wouldn't be too surprised if we actually saw gold come back down towards these lows, back down here. Again, this is just what the chart's telling me. So on a short-term basis, I have been completely wrong. I really thought we'd actually these legs to the upside would actually start to see the movement, because especially what happened with what's going on with inflation. That didn't happen. So a humble pie I'm eating right now. Okay, cool. Okay, so now we had the humble pie. Let's actually move on and we can focus on what's happening in the present moment. On a short-term basis, guys, gold is very, very, very weak. And we're probably going to continue seeing on a movement on the downside. So that's what I'm seeing there on a short-term basis, because we now got a lower high and the market's rolling down. So there's probably a really high probability we're going to continue to roll back down towards these lows back down here when it comes to gold. Now, that's my short-term analysis, okay? If you're trading on a short-term basis, then you must have a point where you are going to get out to protect yourself, because there's no guarantees of making a profit in any market, right? In any position out there. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people who look and seek these YouTube videos out. They're trying to find that certainty, right? I'm trying to find that thing that's definitely going to make me money. And unfortunately, you are looking at trading the whole wrong way, because that's not how the foundations of doing well out of the markets, right? We have analysis, trend analysis, and so on and so forth that helps us read the market, get a bit more understanding of what's going on. And as the market changes, we must change with it, right? The market could be saying something right now, but then something a week later, exactly what gold did, the market starts to change its tune. Like, okay, then I have to bend and mold with it, right? That's what you must do as a trader. You must flow with the markets. If the market on a short-term basis looks bullish now, then suddenly a month or a few weeks later, it starts to change its tune. Well, guess what? We have to flow with it, don't we? We have to really, really, really flow with it. And that's exactly what we need to do. So on a short-term basis, I definitely got this right move through the upside. Then we come back down. We had a big move up. And now we've got this very strong breakdown bar through here. So again, I wouldn't be too surprised if we broke this and continue to see now more downward movement, because I was looking for the breakout. We're going to break up or break down. We got the breakdown, and that's where we're going through there. So that's on a short-term basis, okay, guys? On a short-term basis, it's important to flow with the markets. Okay, now on a short-term basis, if you're just getting in based on some analysis, then you're always going to lose money. You're always going to go backwards, right? Because as you can see, I've been on my short-term analysis, I've been wrong a lot of the times, but I don't trade based on short-term analysis. Huh? John, well, if you're doing analysis, you're looking for a good time to get in. No, I trade based on a system, right? See, every single time I've only had one position in gold this whole time, and that's bullish, and I still will be bullish. I'm bullish for 5 years, but I've never actually got into a short-term position here when it comes to gold. Why? Because it didn't meet my trading plan. I have a trading system, and again, in that free trading course, I'll share with you my system. But I have a trading system that I use, that I look to get in and get out with the markets. Okay, so I don't just trade based on a think or a hope or a fear and so on and so forth. Yes, my analysis, I am humble pie, I'm eating it, right? On my short-term analysis, I've been wrong a lot. I really thought that we'd see a lot more upside to come in gold. Donkey Kong didn't come to town. I'm eating my humble pie, but that's okay, right? Because guess what? I didn't trade based on what I thought was going to happen. I always trade based on a system. And that's what I recommend you doing as well too. Now, that aside, let's actually look at the real. This is the daily chart we're looking at here right now. And if we go to the weekly charts, we still can see that it's actually not looking good. You know what I mean? Like, it's looking really, we're starting to develop this sort of significant lower high here. So on a overall basis, we're getting this very, 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 very sort of not really much going on through here. And that's where the gyrations have been really, and I know a lot of people have just been so frustrated, because I guarantee you that a lot of people who watch these gold and silver updates have been so bullish in the markets, and they've probably been too much bullish in the markets and too much risk, that as soon as we get some gyrations, they're getting knocked out. And I hope you're not that. I hope you're not like that. Okay. My positions are a small risk on my account and a long term in nature. So we are getting this sort of high through here, and we had this high, we had this low. Now we're getting some sort of lower high. So really, on the long term, we're not really getting anyone in control now. It's really very, 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 very sideways. I do see, though, somewhere down the track, I don't know when, that it could be next year, that we are likely to see one astronomical bull move, and I do see that especially in the mining stocks. I believe that this year is going to be this decade is going to be the decade for the mining stocks. It's just going to take some time, and patience is one of the biggest keys for our success in the markets, especially when looking at this thing. If you go to have a look at the Bitcoin chart, and this is something I really see happening with gold and even some of the mining stocks, even with silver, like a lot of these gold, silver mining stocks, what I see happening moving forward is something like what happened with Bitcoin. Okay, so if I have a look at Bitcoin, look what Bitcoin did. So if you see Bitcoin obviously made a move from 10,000 up to 65,000. But what did it do all this time? Look at this here. Right? So all that time there, we're looking at right, 136 weeks. So whatever that is, right? 52, right? That's a long time. I'm trying to do math on the fly here. Don't try and do math, John. All right. So I'm trying. You can see we had a big move up, and then we came back down, and then we sort of flattened out. But you can see how we really see this gyration we're getting through here. This is what I believe gold is going to be doing. Now again, we're looking at Bitcoin on a weekly chart, and see this gyration. That's what I believe we're likely to see with gold, probably for the rest of this year, if I'm going to be honest with you. Again, but that doesn't mean I'm not long gold. I am, but I truly believe that there's going to come a point in time with gold, even the mining stocks, that after we get through this gyration, and we may do something like this, like Bitcoin did, when just basically went sideways for 1, 2, almost 3 years of really not doing much, just big sort of gyration periods. Move up, move down, move up, and then we broke out. So that's what I'm expecting to see happening with gold. So if you're in gold right now, I personally now expect to see that we're probably now, after so much data, so much data or data happening with gold and silver and in the mining stocks. I've been wrong on the short term, and now what's happening with inflation. I personally don't see gold and silver doing too much this year. Again, I could be wrong. That's why I'm not going to try and time this long-term move, because it may happen next month and we start the breakout and we go for a big move. But looking at gold and silver right now, that I wouldn't be too surprised if we did exactly what Bitcoin did like this, and then suddenly out of nowhere it just goes for a big move to the upside like that. Right? And so like that's what I'm expecting happening with gold and silver, the mining stocks, and all that moving forward. And if you are in that, then it's important to try to have that stance of long term. And yes, we get these big sort of gyration pullbacks, as you can see when it comes to that. And the market's always developing these patterns. So short term, guys, you know what? I have been wrong a lot. I don't trade based on that. I always trade based on, I have a system and a pattern that I trade. And the reason why I say that, guys, is because guess what? Most of the time when I think something is going to happen, I'm actually wrong. And I have always learned that whenever I trade based on what I think, okay, so I think something's going to happen, okay, whenever I do that, most of the time I'm actually wrong. And you'll find this with a lot of successful traders out there. But guess what? Exactly what I just said. You'll find with a lot of successful traders out there like myself who really do well at trading, I don't ever trade based on this. I could say gold's going to go to the moon, it's going to hockey stick, and Donkey Kong comes to town, blah, 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 right? I'm stewing on the bull market. But I've been wrong in a lot. But guess what? I don't ever trade based on this here, because I don't know what's going to happen. And the foundations to sort of, being involved with these markets is that you don't need to know what's going to happen. And that's always a hard thing when it comes to trading. And that's because you always think, if you think that you need to know what's going to happen in order for you to do really well. I'm very, very confident long term, we're going to see this in gold. Short term, we're probably going to see this in gold. and it may happen for the rest of this year and then maybe into next year. And that's probably what's going to happen with the mining stocks as well too, is that we're probably just going to continue going through this fluctuation, this gyrations, not really much going on. And it's probably going to stay like that. And then we're going to build up a lot of this sort of sideways movement to me, which is an energy building phase. And then when we release it, we're going to see something like this happening with gold, silver, and even the mining stocks. But on the short term, guys, expect a lot more volatility, a lot more sideways movement, a lot more of a pullback out of the mining stocks. But if you are trading the markets, guys, please, please, please don't ever trade based on a YouTube video of what I do, because whatever I think something's going to happen, most of the time it doesn't. And it's like, oh, well, John, if you don't know what's going to happen, then you're a shit trader. It's like, no, it's not all about that, right? I have a what? I have a pattern. P for pattern. I have a pattern / what we call system, right? Now, a system just simply means, okay, I have this pattern and I have my entry that's my entry. And then I have my profit target. I have my exit for my loss, and I have my risk management. And when I take this here, I will take 20 of these trades of the exact same setup. And I know once I take 20 of these trades, that I know at the end of those 20 trades, I'm going to have some losses. This is how trading is, guys. Some losses. Most will be profits. I make a lot of money. And I repeat this whole cycle here to help me do really well from trading. And you guys can do the same thing as well too. So this is where guys thinking, oh, I think this is going to happen, so I'm going to trade it. It's never the right idea, because, you know, it's always based on I think, right? There's no probability based on that. And so guys, once again, guys, for the short-term basis, I'm eating a humble pie, because I have been wrong a lot lately on my short-term analysis. But looking at what we're seeing right now, we're probably going to see this happening here a lot. So if you're in gold and silver or the mining stocks, just expect this, a lot more gyrations, probably for the rest of this year, maybe even into the next year. It may even happen, like again, Bitcoin did it for 3 years. That's 6 months or so it's been happening, or a bit longer when it comes to gold and silver. We may be getting ready for another 6, maybe 12 months of this gyration and not really much going on. But I do believe, guys, that we are in that long-term cycle. A lot of money is going to be made in that next massive run up in gold, silver, mining stocks. It's just probably going to take a bit of time than I thought to actually do that. But once it gets going, just like Bitcoin, it's going to be too late. And those who don't sort of see that and are patient, and this is a big thing, guys, just be patient, okay? Patience simply means that you don't get into a trade today and next week you're freaking out because it's going against you. It's not the right way you should be. If you're in gold and silver and the mining stocks, you're approaching it the wrong way. You need to have a long-term view, put your money in there, have a small risk on your account, and then let it go for 4 or 5 years. Again, I'm not telling you what to do, but you need to approach trading like that. But if you are short-term trading, then if you're not based on it, if you have no idea why you're getting something, you just think it's a good idea or you hope, you're always going to go backwards, and it's probably not going to work out well for you. So please, guys, just get some sort of a system if you're short-term trading. If you have a long-term investing approach, then just make sure that, once again, that you just simply you buy and you say, you know what, I'm in this for 10 years. And that's the way that should be when it comes to that there. So to me, Donkey Kong is coming to town, but he's just a little bit late, maybe 6 or 12 months late.